Welcome to St. Ignace and the Antiques on the Bay show, 7th annual show on June 21st, 2003. It's my honor. My name is Ed Raby. My company, Nostalgia Productions, produces this show as well as the one next week and a big truck show in September. And it's my honor today to bring to St. Ignace Mr. Jack C. Miller, noted orphan car historian, car collector, and all-around gearhead. And he's just the kind of guy that I've read about Jack for years and years and years and never had the pleasure of meeting him until yesterday. And it's been a fun weekend. Jack, welcome to St. Ignace.
My pleasure, Ed. I've enjoyed this whole weekend up here, riding around with you and meeting people and watching the show set up. And then last night had the honor of riding in the Grand Hotel's 59 Cadillac limousine.
Yeah, this has been your car for the weekend.
Yes,
not too bad, with complete with the chauffeur, courtesy of the Grand Hotel on Mackinac Island and the Dan Musser family. And we thank them for that. And you look pretty good in that back seat of this old limo.
Oh, I love it.
Fun.
We've been in the limo game for a lot of years, but I was never in the back seat.
So it's a nice treat to have the car over here. And we got a great show, 140 cars, I believe, last count. And going way back to the teens, right up through the cutoff year of 1978 to 25-year cutoff. Featuring convertibles of the 40s, and we have probably a dozen and a half of that era here. Some beautiful four-door convertibles, two-door convertibles. We got original Ford Sportsman, and a very nice variety of cars.
It's just a great show, and everything's factory stock and really unique. Some cars that you never see anywhere else.
And we do note some orphan cars here for you.
Oh, yes.
And any one in particular? I know that Hudson kind of got your attention down there.
The Terraplane, the little Studebaker coupe pickup, the Will St. Clair, and of course, one of my favorites, it's not an orphan yet, but this gorgeous Hemi-powered GTX over here.
That's a sweetheart, yeah. Yeah, and there's some very nice Plymouths here that, like you say, soon will be able to do your events. And we're real pleased with the turnout here today. It's a gorgeous, sunny, warm day, which really helps everybody's mood, especially mine. It works well.
Keeps the chairman happy.
That's right.
And keeps the townspeople happy. It's just a great event.
So we thank Jim for being here to videotape this, and you for being here.
Oh, my pleasure.
You brought a lot of orphan car owners to St. Ignace.
Well, we'll try and get some more up here next year.
Thank you, Jack. Good job.
Hi, I'm Mark Ludwig. This is my mother, Laura Lee Ludwig. We're from Beulah, Michigan. This is our 1930 Ford Model A. And we drove up here on Friday, all-day trip from Traverse City. Got about 14 miles a gallon in this baby. And
right, it's comfortable?
There was 9 of us that came up, and we enjoyed it.
My name is Stuart Galbraith. This is my 1932 Chevrolet Coach. This car sold when new for $475, but you had to buy the bumpers, and that was another $20, so $495 would buy it in 1932. This was the largest selling model car in 1932. They sold more Chevrolet two-door sedans than any other make or model. It's a good driver. I have a high-speed rear end in it, and I can drive it on the freeway at 60 miles an hour all day long.
Hi, my name's Lee Lund. I'm from Sheboygan, Michigan. This is the 1930 Model A pickup truck. I bought it and fluffed it up some, and I've got what they call a driver. It's not really a stock Model A truck. In fact, I don't see any of them that are stock. There was no chrome. There was no stone guard. There's no cowl lights. They were green with black, and effectively was about the least expensive Model A that was built. This is what they call the closed cab. They made a roadster model pickup. That was about the cheapest Model A that was produced. They were under $400 brand new.
My name is John Robertson. I'm from Marquette, Michigan, and I have a 1929 Ford AA truck. This is Ford's heaviest truck they made in 1929. It's not been restored. I gave it the Railway Express look because Railway Express was formed in 1929, same year as the truck. It goes very slow down the road, so we trailered it here. It was a better option than driving at 165 miles.
Bob Simonon from Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario, Canada, and my car's a 1967 Camaro Black Panther. It's one of two that exist today. I purchased this car originally in 1967 from Gory's in Toronto, Ontario. It has been featured in a number of magazines and TV commercials and different items over the past year, and it's a very unique car. It has a James Bond kit which is in the console, and it has the toggle switches for seat ejector, smoke ejector, so on. And this was done as a joke originally, and it caught on, so they put it in most of the cars. Gory's made possibly less than 50 of these cars, and right now they think that there's probably only 12 that were made and 2 that remain right now.
Hi, my name is Marcel Rowland. I'm from Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario, Canada. We decided a few days ago we would come up and see this show. It's called Antiques on the Bay. We picked the perfect day to come up here. What you see here is a 1969 Chrysler 300. It's the first year of the fuselage styling. The car was purchased approximately 7 years ago, and I've completely restored the interior, the exterior. I've had all the chrome done. There's been a new vinyl roof installed, new windows where needed. The motor is the 440 cubic inch TNT 375 horse. It's the original engine. The car's speedometer reads 58,000. That could be original, or it could be 158,000.
Hi, John and Irene Stedman from Manchester, Michigan. We've got a 64 900 series Monza Corvair. My wife picked this up last year, about a year ago in Toledo. We restored the interior, reupholstered the seats, new headliner, carpet, door pads, rear engine, all aluminum, air-cooled. One of the first unibody cars. It was built in Willow Run, Ypsilanti, Michigan. Of course, Ralph Nader gave him a hard time, and they finally quit making them in 1969. Lovely little car. The wife loves it.
My name is Wayne and Pat Lastly. We're from Romney, Indiana. We got our 1953 Chevrolet Bel Air convertible. We bought it 8 years ago. The reason we have it is because when my wife was 16, her dad bought her a brand new one just like it. So we wanted to relive some old memories, having a great time. This is our 6th year at Antiques on the Bay. I really enjoy coming to see the show and be in the show. It's a 235 cubic inch 6-cylinder pressure lube with the hydraulic lifters because it has a Powerglide transmission.
Okay, my name is Kirk Brandt. This is a 64 Pontiac Catalina convertible. It's an HO 421 car with a 4-speed. It's quite rare. My father ordered this car brand new. It's a family car. It's a 421 HO tri-power motor. It's 100% original except for the paint. The paint's the only thing that's been redone over the years. Everything else is as it came.
My name is Sam Carup. I'm from Rockford, Michigan. My car is a 1958 Chevrolet Impala Sport Coupe. It's equipped with a 283 2-speed Powerglide. I found the car up in Canada about 4 years ago. It was pretty much complete, but I just had the job of finishing it off. And I'm the proud owner of this 1958 Impala.
Yeah, my name is Tom Meyer and I'm from Flushing, Michigan. And my car is a 54 Pontiac Chieftain Deluxe. The car was in original shape when I bought it. It had 27,000 miles. And we just recently repainted and re-chromed the car and had the interior redone. And some of the features it has a lighted hood ornament, safety light or a spotlight on the driver's side. Also has power antenna, power steering, power brakes, automatic transmission. Also has the Autronic Eye, which is a device that dims the headlights. As the car is coming towards you, it will dim yours automatically. It's pretty much loaded for a 1954 two-door sedan.
Can't find the owner of this 59 Buick Invicta.
This is the 4-door hardtop with the wraparound rear window. I used to have a 59 Electra just like this. And I love these cars. They're just the craziest looking grille on these things. Like Pontiac, Buick had these round gauges. In '60, everything changed and the speedometer went to the mirrored speedometer in the '60 Buick, but this does not have the mirrored speedometer. The fins on the 59 are about 3 inches taller than the fins on the '60. In 1960, GM just kind of toned down all their wacky things from 59. The 59 GM cars are just the most outrageous. In 1960, they toned them down.
My name is Jim Goto. I'm from Traverse City, Michigan. This is a 1926 Will St. Clair Roadster. This is one of 80 cars left in the world of the Wills cars. That includes all body styles. C. Harold Wills left Ford Motor Company in 1919 to start out on his own. He wasn't a very successful businessman, produced a great car, but he only lasted about 5 years, so you're looking at the result. The engine is an overhead cam 6, 272 cubic inches, 66 horsepower. The cam is gear driven, it's not chain driven. This car was quite a bit ahead of its time.
Hello, I'm Jason Watson, and this is the Horsepower Hall of Fame featuring fine arts, literature, and collectibles. We've been a member of, been a part of the St. Ignace show for the past 7 years, and we look forward to doing the big show as well. We've featured numerous art. We represent about 50 different artists, and our whole focus is to take art and automotive art specifically out of the garage and into people's homes, on their mantels and on their walls and in their dens. You can reach us on www.horsepowerfinearts.com and check us out on the web.
I'm Gene, and this is my wife Patty Birdsall. We're from Rockford, Michigan, and this is our Model 72 1937 Hudson Terraplane. It was a companion car to the Hudson. It was a lower price model, and this is an original car except for the paint. It has original interior in it. It has 45,000 original miles on it, and it has some extras on it that were optioned at the time of the electric hand and clock and radio. It has some fender skirts and some things that were added on at the dealership. It's a great driving car. We drove it from Rockford, about 243 miles, and it's a great car. It's a lot of fun to drive, and we're having a great time at the show.
Okay, Ralph and Ruth Doherty from Hastings, Michigan. We have a 1930 Whippet. It's a 96A. It's a 4-cylinder. We've had it since 1995. Didn't start restoring it until about 4 years ago. It was made by the Overland Company out of Toledo, Ohio. And they had an endurance run when the Whippet from California to New York, and they had 43.5 miles per gallon. And we're really enjoying the car. We have other old cars too.
My name is Glenn Reintz, and this is my wife Vera, and we're from Lindenwood, Illinois. And this is a 1940 Studebaker Champion Coupe delivery. And we bought the car in 1987 from a friend of ours. And it's a low mileage car. It's got 41,000 on it now. And it's got the optional pickup box that Studebaker had for 2 years, 1940 and 41. And we enjoy it very much, and we've been to a lot of national meets with it and everything. This has got the flathead 6 164.3 cubic inch. Our friend done some work on it, but the body was real solid. We didn't have to pull it off the frame. We replaced all the rubber and glass and detailed the engine compartment.
Okay, my name is Mike Doubleday. I'm from Battle Creek, Michigan. I originally started on this car back in '91. I rescued it from a barn in Pennsylvania. It was really nice shape. I completely did a rotisserie on it. I had it upside down in the shop and completely painted the bottom and done all the restoration myself other than the paint. All the trim that it wears is the original trim. I've just refurbished it, polished it. I had the bumpers re-chromed, and the original drive line was, some of it was in the trunk, some was in the back seat. I brought home a couple truckloads of parts from Pennsylvania when I picked the car up. It took me almost 8 years to restore this car in the condition that you see it. The engine, 426 Hemi, it's the original matching number engine. I have overbored it 30 from its original standard bore, restored it back to factory spec. I've tried to get it as close as possible to the way it was originally produced.
I'm Don Briley. I live in Pellston, Michigan. This is our car. We have a 69 Super B 440 Magnum in it. This car, we actually done it twice. The first time it caught on fire, so we redid it. And I think I'm more happy with it now than I was before, but it turned out real well. We've got a 69 Dodge Super B 440 Magnum car.
Here are 3 great GM cars from the muscle car era. Here's our Buick, and our Chevelle, and our Pontiac Firebird, right in a row. So 3 different makes, about the same era.
I'm Fred Caverly from Hale, Michigan. This is my 1965 Fairlane 500 2-door hardtop sports coupe. I've had it ever since it was 3 years old. We show it down at the Rods and Relics show a lot. It's standard shift, 3-speed. It has a little 289 into it. It has original bias ply tires on it. It also has the spare tires, original tire that came with the car. It was painted in 1991. That's the only thing that's been done to this car since '65. It's going in for a complete paint job next year again. Other than that, that's about all I can tell you. It's the interior is all original yet. The console, everything's original in it. And we do drive it every day to town or wherever. And we trailer it some to the longer shows away like this, but most generally we drive it everywhere as we go.
It's a great looking 67 Shelby GT500. Plymouth next to a Ford, next to a Olds Toronado, next to a Buick.
Okay, my name is Bob Kalia and I live in Sault Ste. Marie, Michigan. This is a 1968 Plymouth Roadrunner that we restored. It took us 1.5 years to do so, putting it all back to the stock components, original color, bumpers, wheels, interior. The restoration was done by several different body men and painters, and the mechanical work and putting the items back together, that's the job that I had. Okay, this is a 1968 383. It's the 383 Magnum, the 335 horse. This has the 4-barrel carburetor, the 440 heads, and that's what made it the 335 horse Magnum engine. This has been completely redone under the hood.
They're parasailing.
My name is Merle Ryan. I live in Sault Ste. Marie, Michigan. We come down to this show nearly every year because it's only an hour's drive away. We've had this car. This is a Crown Victoria, 1955 Crown Victoria. They made a Crown Victoria with a steel top. That's what this is. They also made it with a glass top. And then they made a Victoria, which is a 2-door hardtop, along with their sedans and convertibles, station wagons, and so forth. We've had this car 19 years. We belong to the Crown Victoria Association, and we've been to, I think, 15 different conventions in all different states. We've been to Wichita, Kansas, Roanoke, Virginia, St. Louis, Missouri. That's just a sample of what we've been to. But each year when we drive it, we don't trailer it. Each year I think we've made some improvements. 19 years ago, of course, it was pretty basic. And throughout the years we've been able to add spotlights and rocker panel moldings and different things that changes we've made. It's been a very dependable car. This car, I don't think it has ever left us on the road. We hit a deer with it coming back from Des Moines, Iowa a couple of years ago. But the insurance took care of it. But it's just been a fun car. We've enjoyed it. We've probably been to hundreds of car shows. We got trophies galore. So, nope, it's been a great car. A 292 engine, 4-barrel carburetor. It's kind of a standard. Ford come out with a 272, a 292, And then in 56 they come out with a 312. This is a 292 with a 4-barrel. Most of the 272s, they just had 2 barrels on to start with. They're more for economy. This is quite a unique car in the respect that it has a round radio, and this is probably one of the only cars that ever had a round radio in it.
Huh. Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen that before.
This has a horn ring on it that says Master Guide Power Steering for the cars that have power steering. This particular car has power steering, power brakes. And back in 55, they also had them, you know, with air conditioning, power windows, power seats. All the accessories were available back then. Ford made a good piece of machinery back in 55. Little unique.
My name is John Bauer. I'm from Rockford, Michigan, and my car is a 1967 Cadillac DeVille convertible. It has a 429 cubic inch engine. The car is not in pristine condition, but it's a lot of fun. The engine has been rebuilt, so it's a good running car. And I have a lot of fun on tours and driving around, but as far as car show, I'm a little bit embarrassed. I've had it for 10 years now. Done some cleanup work and some minor things, but haven't done an overall restoration of the car.
Okay, my name's Dave Bauer. I'm from Rockford, Michigan. This is a 67 DeVille convertible. I've owned approximately 10 years. Pretty much the way I bought it is the way you see it. I've rebuilt the engine and a new top. We've taken it on a lot of tours, including around Lake Superior.
Steve Strasburger, Maple City, Michigan. It's a 1971 Buick Riviera, 455. It has 155,000 original miles on it. Had it for 16 years, bought it as a daily driver, and decided to keep it because I liked it so much.
I'm Buzz and Karen Amstutz from Muskegon, Michigan. My first Ford was a 1956 Ford. I loved it so well through the years, I decided to get another one in 1968. I got my Crown Victoria then. I've had it all those years, 35 years, restored it about 15 years ago. Then I decided my wife Karen should have a car. So out in the farmer's field in Minnesota, which wasn't much of a car at the time, I found this one, brought it back, took 2.5 years to restore it. All original pretty much. The engines and everything are all stock. Then I thought I would like a 2-door hardtop. So my wife, being a sweetheart, she bought this one here for me, but it didn't look like this. It was kind of a mess. Got it out of Kansas, brought it home. About 2 years on this one here, made it all pretty much original. I do all the work myself except the interior and the engine, everything else I do. Then I thought, well, maybe I should have a 57, they're different. So I found this one out in Minnesota. Was not in good shape. I got parts from many different cars to put this one together. A lot of it come out of Arizona, and I put it all together myself. A whole new floor pan, fenders, doors, the whole 9 yards, all come from Arizona. So this is what we did with them over a period of a number of years. And that's about the history on my cars.
We're Nelson and Betsy Hansen from Hudsonville, Michigan. We've just been married for 3 weeks. And this is a 1940 Ford Bell telephone truck. They call it a cable splicer truck. It was back in the days when phones were new to the country, and they used this truck to install phones in the homes. And but anyway, we found it here in the Upper Peninsula west of Escanaba. It should have been probably scrapped out but because it's so rare, we felt it was worth restoring and bringing back to what it is, so that people can remember again. We get a lot of guys who work for the phone company, and they give me a lot of information about how they used to work on these trucks and memories about that. It's got the original and authentic flathead V8 engine in it, which was one of Ford's good engines in its day, and color-wise it's pretty as the phone company had it, olive and black. The 40 Ford was quite a popular vehicle anyway, and you can buy most anything except sheet metal parts. You can buy fiberglass fenders, but no sheet metal, no steel fenders. The rest of it, well, I found some used doors and saved those, but the rest is all what came on the truck. We were able to save the rest of it.
I'm Dick Luty, Marquette, Michigan, and this is a Ford Model T. It's a 1914, and it would be called a Model T Ford Speedster. Originally started life as a Model T touring car. When I bought it, it had been cut into a truck, and so it was a good chassis to be made into a Speedster. I originally bought the car in 1954, so I've had it 49 years. And at this point, it's a strong running car. All the lights, they're gas lights and oil side lamps. Everything works, and it's a good, fun car to run around.
My name is Gene Hoth, and I'm from South Bend, Indiana. And I'm driving this 36 Ford Club Cabriolet, which I've had for approximately 6 years. And I originally got it from an old man that it was in pretty bad shape. I took it apart piece by piece and put it back together, and my wife and I drive it all over. It's a good running little old car. I don't know what else to tell you about it, except it doesn't have hydraulic brakes. It has mechanical brakes, working radio, all original, and that's about it, I guess.
My name's Ole Jacobson. I'm from Byron Center, Michigan, which is just south of Grand Rapids. This is a 1947 Ford Sportsman. I've owned it since 1954, or I shouldn't say I owned it since that. I bought it in 1954. I traded it to a brother-in-law for a 50 Ford, and he traded it to an uncle, and I bought it back from the uncle in 1980. It is totally original on the outside, with the exception of the new roof, and I had to replace the leather seats on the interior. I drove this in college, the 4 years I was in college, and it was housed outside in the winter time, and the body is in beautiful shape for being 56 years old.
My name is Joe Burton. I'm from Sault Ste. Marie, Michigan. This here is a 1935 Dodge half-ton pickup truck. It's been modified. Has a 350 Chevy engine, automatic transmission, 10-bolt positive traction rear end, Wagner aftermarket wheels, and it has Suburban brakes on it. And it's was done 22 years ago, restored 22 years ago by Ralph Usla from Sioux, Ontario, and Al Petty, the man that I sold it to. The car originally came from St. Ignace. It sat many years in front of a gas station right down here where the theater is. And this truck was a black truck, and it came from there originally. And it's been over in Canada for the last about 20 years. And when Al passed away, Then I bought it back. I've owned this truck 4 times, and it has an unusual shift lever, and you maybe can get a picture of that by looking inside. And what else can I tell you about it? Just a nice little truck. That's what you call a pistol grip shift. It's from the Mounties over in Sioux, Ontario. It's got a solid barrel on it. It's screwed on. It doesn't really shoot. It snaps, but it will not fire. There's no firing pin in it. Has a velvet interior. And the bed, this is all original. The inside the bed and everything. It was really a clean truck, a nice truck.
My name is Mike Nichols. I live in Traverse City, Michigan. This is a 1947 Ford station wagon produced in Iron Mountain, Michigan. I can't remember production number. It's all bird's eye maple. The early cars, most of the cars were regular maple. What Ford would do would be pull off bird's eye every so often and put together a car out of all bird's eye. And then it'd be given to executives or high volume dealers. A lot of these features are pretty unique just to 47 or 46, which most of this car is. It took a couple years to redo this, and I came out of the cabinet making business, and I do this full time now. And it takes about a couple years to do a car. Birch maple type wood grain dash, leather seats. The paneling on the outside is African mahogany. The color is Greenfield green, which was a 46 color. It's actually, everything on this car is actually 46, but it was titled a 47.
Okay, my name is Russ Lorente, and I'm a driver this summer for the Grand Hotel, owned by the Mussers, and it's their VIP car. It picks up people from the airport and drives them to Mackinac City, where they get on the boat and enjoy their stay on Mackinac Island at the Grand Hotel. 1959 Cadillac has an extremely rich history of picking people up. At one time it belonged to President Eisenhower, and it has picked up many a dignitary over the years.
I'm Daniel Martin. I'm from Kendallville, Indiana, and this is a 39 Plymouth two-door. It's a model Road King, and this is the very first car I ever owned. I got the car when I was 15 years old in 1964, and I owned it until 1968. When I went to college, my dad sold the car because I had bought a Model A Ford. A friend of mine that I played in the band with by the name of Fred Walder called the car the Heap, and so its nickname today is called the Heap. Today, the car still has all of the original components on it that it had when I was in high school, less the wheels and tires. It still has the same exhaust pipe and the same tailpipe and the same taillights that it had on it when I was in school back at Kendallville High School in 1964. The car was sold in the fall of 1968. It went to the art teacher at East Noble High School. He had it until 1970. In 1970, Ed Perkins bought the car, who was a pharmacist in Kendallville, Indiana. He owned the car until 1977 and had it painted the robin egg blue that you see on the car today. And then in 1977, a contractor by the name of Forrest Strasser bought the car, and he left it sitting on a cement slab behind his office for 25 years. And on June 29th of 2002, Forrest Strasser had an auction, and I went and I got it bought back. And I've got my first car back, and I paid $400 for it, and I drove it up here from Kendallville, Indiana. And it still has the original 6-cylinder engine in it when I had it in high school, and everything is basically all there. And it's been a real experience coming up here and being able to share my story in the car with many interested car people that were here today.
Hi, I'm Larry Riley from Grand Rapids, Michigan. This is my wife, Karen. This is what we call Karen's Toy. It's a 1956 Pontiac Star Chief convertible. Manufactured was a little over 13,000 of them in 1956. Karen found this car in a magazine about 3.5 years ago, and we did a full frame-off restoration in the past 2.5 years. That's why we love it and call it Karen's Toy.
My name is Bill Cook. I live in Swartz Creek, Michigan.
This is a 1940 Buick Super convertible, the first year for the Super. First year for power top. First year with no running boards. First year with factory turn signals. Straight 8 Buick engine with it's a 248 cubic inch. It's original for this car. Bought the car all in pieces and I put it together in 8 months. And I took it to the Buick National in Columbus, Ohio. 1999, got 396 points out of 400. I'm quite happy with it.
My name is Don Cook, live in Swartz Creek, Michigan. 38 Master Deluxe, inline 6, 3-speed, all original. The only thing I changed on it was the color. That's what I do for a living is paint. So.
Jim Brayton, I'm from Flint, Michigan. This is a 1940 Buick Special Model 41C sedan convertible. They built 552 of them. This car came back from Uruguay. It's more of a resurrection than it was a restoration. And we had a lot of fun putting it back together, and it's a great car. Really enjoy it.
We had a great show today. Do you like the new location? From Sydney, Ohio, Bob Stevens.
This is such a great show, and I've always been in love with the Northern Woods, and Ed does such a fantastic job with both of his St. Ignace shows, and I've attended, I really don't know how many. This is my 5th Antiques on the Bay in a row, and I'm not sure how many, probably at least a dozen, maybe 14, 15 of the other show, the one held next weekend. This is my favorite because of the stock cars, production cars, and right down there on the lakefront. And also, I would like to say one quick thing. This man here is our guest of honor, Jack Miller, and I'd just like to say, would you buy a used car from this man? Because I did.
My great pleasure to bring to you from Ypsilanti, Michigan, orphan car historian, Mr. Jack Miller.
My father bought into the Hudson dealership in 1933. The dealership started in 1927. We are in the building that they moved into in 1933. We still have all of the original records on every new car that was sold back to 1927.
I want to present you with a key to the city, and that opens up every door in town, and some hotels that you might not want to get into, but
Everybody's going home, including this '59 Pontiac.